Okay, everyone, welcome to Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is on functions. If you don't know by now, I am Mr. Hall. Ms. Zara did Chapter 1. I will be doing Chapter 2 videos. But again, welcome to Chapter 2. These are functions. Let's talk about what we're going to be talking about at least today in 2.1. The learning target, I am able to recognize functions by the type, then evaluate and analyze domain visually using the TI. You're going to want your TI 84 calculator, or some of you guys use the 89 calculator. What is a function? Let's talk about that first. What is a function as a rule? It assigns each element in the domain X to exactly one element, an important statement in the range f of X, a one-to-one relation. Some of you guys may remember this a function as passing the vertical line test, or no 2 points stacked on top of each other. Kind of like this, like graphed, all right, and I had one x value, call it 3. I plotted a point, I plotted another point on top of it. That would not be a function. That would not be a function. It has 3 would have 2 different y values. When we already said it has to have one element in the range, all right? So again, that's what defines a function. And like you guys remember, it would pass the vertical line test. Let's go to evaluating the function. When we evaluate a function, we were talking about replacing x in the original function with a number or an expression. Expression is going to be the more challenging part. And then what is the value of the function for a given value of x? If I put a number in for x, can you evaluate? Okay, so we'll get to that. All right, let's move on here. All right, so here are some examples or different examples of different types of functions. All right, the first one is the absolute value function. So let's find the absolute value function. I'm just going to move this. Absolute value function is determined by absolute value symbols. All right, those 2 lines right there you see on the outside, those are absolute value symbols. All right. I'm going to talk about a linear function next. A linear function is when the x value or your variable is to the first power. Now that's important. You know what a linear sounds like. It sounds like a line. So linear function is a line function. Next, I'm going to go to quadratic function. Quadratic function is where your x value to the second power. You guys know that polynomial as a quadratic function. We've looked at that plenty of times. Next one, a radical function. We got a couple here. All right, anything with a root. In that case, that's a square root. And here, this one is a cube root. Those are functions. Rational function. Here's our rational function. Anytime you have a fraction with some kind of polynomial on top and a polynomial on the bottom, is a rational function. Higher degree, similar to quadratic. Instead, this one here is to the third power, so it's cubic. So higher degree than second power. And the last one that we have not labeled is the piecewise function. Piecewise function is where you're piecing 2 different functions together. In this case, x plus 1 when x is less than or equal to -3, and also 3x minus 2 when x is greater than -3. That is called the piecewise function. Okay, moving on. Okay, let's evaluate the function for the given values. All right, so this is as simple as it sounds, plug and chug. So we have the function f of x equals 2 minus x over 2 plus x. So the first statement, the first evaluation that we want to do is plugging in 3. This one says take 3, plug it in for x. Okay, no problem. So we have 2 minus, in the place of x, I'm going to put in 3. Divided by 2 plus, again, in the place of x, I'm going to put 3. Then let's just clean it up. So on top, I have 2 minus 3, which is -1. On the bottom, I have 2 plus 3, which is 5. Final answer. All right, let's do the next one, -3. So 2 minus a -3 divided by 2 plus a -3. Some of you guys know super plus or chop chop. I can make that a plus positive. So 2 plus 3 is 5 over 2 minus 3, which is -1, which equals a -5. Now let's evaluate for the value. In this case, instead of a value or a number, they want us to use b. Slide this down a little bit. All right, so then in the place of x, let's put b. So we had 2 minus, in the place of x up here, in the place of x right here, right there, I'm now going to plug in b. So 2 minus b over 2 plus b. That's the final thing. That's my final answer. It's all I can do. That's all I can do. All right, there's the answer where it says 3 minus b over 1 plus b. That's for the last one. And let's see if we get the right answer for that. Okay, so for the last one, we're going to take and plug in b minus 1. All right, we're going to see if we get the 3 minus b over 1 plus b. In the place of x, put in b minus 1. Let's do it. So we have 2 minus, I'm going to use parentheses. In place of x, I'm going to put b minus 1. Divided by 2 plus x. In the place of x, again, I'm looking at the original function, right here, the original function. In the place of 2 plus x, instead of the x, I'm going to put b minus 1. So 2 plus b minus 1. Now let's clean it up. We know to distribute the negative. That'll be 2 minus b plus 1 over, I can add these up, 2 minus 1. 2 minus 1 is 1 plus b. So far, so good. The bottom is good. We still have to combine like terms on the top. We have that 2 plus 1, which equals 3 minus b over 1 plus b. There you go. Looks like the answer is correct. Example 2. So example 2, now we have an absolute value function. So in the absolute value function, we will take care of absolute value. Remember what absolute value function actually does. Right? It represents a distance from 0. So it makes all negative numbers positive. All right, so let's evaluate. All right, if I put in negative 2, that'll be 3 times absolute value of x. In this place of x, I'm going to put in negative 2, though. Negative 2 plus 3. What's that equal? I still got the 3 times negative 2 plus 3 is 1. That's nice. Absolute value of 1 is 1. So 3 times 1 is just 3. If this 1 here were negative, I would have made it positive. All right. X minus 3. So this will equal 3 times absolute value. In the place of x, I'm putting x minus 3 plus 3, absolute value of that, equals 3. Now I have the absolute value of x plus 0, which is x plus 0, which is still just x. So I now have 3 times the absolute value of x. I want to be perfectly clear. I want to make sure that you guys know that 3 times absolute value of x is not the same thing as 3 times x. So this is not the same thing as 3x. All right? Try it. If you put in negative 2, if I put it in right here, it will give me a positive 2, it will give me 6. But if I put in negative 2 for this x, that would give me negative 6. Those are not the same thing. Just want to make sure you're clear. This is my final answer. The last one, f of x minus, or f of x squared plus 1, plugging that into the function, this will equal 3 times the absolute value. In the place of x, I'm going to put x squared plus 1, put that in the place of x, plus 3, absolute value of that. Clean it up. This will be 3 times the absolute value. I can do 1 plus 3 inside the absolute value, so x squared plus 4. And this technically is my final answer. Now the question is, could I distribute the 3 into the absolute value? In this case, yes, you could. Yes, you could, because let's talk about why you could. So yes, I could actually distribute the 3, and I'd still have the same thing. So 3 times x squared plus 12. Yes, I can actually do that, but let's talk about why. The reason is because the x is squared, and the square does basically the same thing as the absolute value. So if I was taking a value of, let's say, negative 4, and I was plugging that in for x, If I put negative 4 in for x, when I square it, I get a positive 16. I get a positive 16. It wouldn't matter if the number is negative or positive. When I square it, I end up with a positive number. So it kind of does the same thing. Well, it does the same thing as the absolute value. So either one of these for this one, either one of these answers is okay.